The summer night sky is filled with nebulae. Cygnus is rising, Cassiopeia is coming back, and if you have a good view, you can also catch the galaxies in the Big Dipper early in the night. It's only a few days after summer solstice, the shortest night of the year. The nights are finally getting longer again, and I will take any chance I get to do some astrophotography. Tonight Cygnus is rising. The nebulae in there are beautiful and gigantic. Join me in a night of astro imaging and look up to the sky. I have birds in my roof. Hi Astro Addicts, my name is Tim and welcome back to Astro Addict. Tonight let's do some astrophotography in the summer. For those of you who don't know when to start imaging in the night, at what point it's fully dark. When the sun sets, the first phase of the night is called nautical twilight. At this point the sunlight is not fully gone yet, and it will get darker in the night. After the beginning of the nautical twilight starts the astro twilight. This is the time when the sky is fully dark and it won't get any darker in the night. This timing is also referred to as the deep sky darkness, the darkest phase of the night. That's usually the time when you want to start imaging, because the contrast in your image will not get any better, unless it's rising up in the sky out of the light pollution. Before the summer solstice, I lost about 10 minutes of deep sky darkness each night. I saw many screenshots from people online who have maybe 3 hours of deep sky darkness left and they freak out. Well, I over here don't have any left. The nautical twilight starts, and before it's really dark, the sun rises again. It will stay this way until maybe in 1 month, in July, in the middle of July, and when I see this first stripe of black in the Clear Outside app, I will be so happy. And the big problem is there's no filter you can use, no really big technique to counter that, only to get more subs in the night. The problem, the camera will be blazing hot, full of noise, and the night is, for me, 3 hours long. But I will not be stopped by these facts. And that is why I will take this bad boy right here. It looks way bigger with a wide field lens. I will take out this beauty right here and image a nebula in the constellation Cygnus. But I guess I will have to wait for another 2 hours. I remember a person in the comments asking me how I align the Guidescope with the main imaging scope. The thing is, I have two main scopes right here. I have the big one and I have the small one for wide field imaging. The point is, I need to take apart this scope every time I want to switch the main scope. But I really don't have a secret behind this. When I mount this, I go by feeling. I take a look at it. Is it centered in the middle right here? The center point is in the X of the scope right here. Is it centered correctly? Maybe. Let me take a look. This looks pretty well centered, and after that I will have to change the height and take a look at that. So I will have to sit next to the telescope and I can see maybe it's a bit too far down in the front and too high up in the back. So let me pull the back down a tiny bit by loosening both of the screws and getting this one further in. When focusing the main camera, I have of course a bright star in the center. And if this was done properly, aligning it by pure eyesight, this bright star should also be in the tiny camera over here. And with a view in PhD and in APT, I can center the star perfectly. And for all of you who don't know where to find the times for the nautical twilight and the astro twilight, if you use APT, I know many of you do, it's great software. You have over this small blinking arrow right here, you can double click this bar and it will show you all the times over there. The sunset at 2140, so the astro twilight, as you can see, is just not happening. 4.8, I think that this could be a little bit better, but let's not worry about that right now. And the imaging camera should still be in focus. Let's stretch this live view 1 second image. What the hell? Well, you should actually remove the cover from the scope. Let's try that again. What do you know? Some stars. I will move to the star Vega, the brightest star, I think, in the northern hemisphere actually. It will be quite a view. Enable tracking, yes, of course. The beautiful tracking sound of the scope is so nice. I'm gonna remove the cable from the pole master actually. The less cables you have on there, the better. And go to. This is honestly my favorite part in the night. The brightest star in the northern sky. And here we have the constellation Cygnus. Let me turn on the constellations for you. This one, here it is. Could I go for the Veil? I could image the Veil Nebula actually. The main nebula regions are the North America and the Pelican Nebula. We have the Sailor region, the Crescent Nebula, one of the most popular, and the Tulip Nebula with the black hole. I can image the area between Cygnus and Cassiopeia, which would be the Bubble Nebula. I would be able to reach Pac-Man in a few minutes, but the Wizard Nebula is also here. Oh yes. Yes. NGC 7380. 7380. There it is. Go to slew. This looks right, but this cluster showing a V is pointing towards it, so it's right here. Alright, let's not waste any more time. The auto guiding. Let's choose a star. The typical exposure time, the minimum exposure time I recommend for a nebula, 3 minutes, and a normal ISO or gain. A normal ISO would be, in my opinion, about 800 to 1600. Let's go.